Hello everyone, we're so happy to have you here today. We are happy also to welcome inspiring speakers today. We have Catherine Dauriac, you are a journalist, author, and textile expert. You are leading Fashion Revolution France, combining activism and expertise in sustainable fashion. For French speakers, Catherine est journaliste, autrice et experte textile, coordinatrice de Fashion Revolution France et engagée pour une mode durable et équitable. Mathilde Pousseau, you are a general delegate of ethics sur l'étiquette, promoting human rights and justice in labor-intensive industries. Mathilde est déléguée générale d'éthique sur l'étiquette, défendant les droits humains dans l'industrie textile. Puja, you are a sustainability expert, campaigner, and global operations member at SFM NGO. You are amplifying Global South voices and driving change at the intersection of fashion, climate and justice. Puja est experte en durabilité à SFM Global. Elle organise des campagnes, porte les voix du Sud de manière générale. Et elle se bat pour une mode plus juste et durable également. And finally, I am Chloé Feyer. I'm so happy to be here today. It's my first panel discussion. I'm a sustainability graduate and global communication lead at SFM. I'm driving international and national campaigns and writing newsletters about conscious fashion at SFM. Chloé, diplômée en développement durable, responsable de la communication globale chez SFM, et je mène donc des campagnes et j'écris des newsletters pour sensibiliser notre communauté sur une mode plus responsable. And I give it to you, Puja. You're going to introduce the new French law.
Thank you, Chloe. Thank you for the introduction. So France has recently taken a significant legislative step against ultra-fast fashion with a bill that directly targets platforms like Shein and Temu, introducing eco-contribution fee, advertising bans, and mandatory sustainability labeling. While the bill is being hailed as it's a bold move forward towards curbing overconsumption, it has also raised serious concerns. Critics argue that it is less about systemic change and more about clearing the market space for the European fast fashion giants like Zara and H&M. Brands that still operate on a very exploitative linear model and massive environmental and social cost. So today we bring together voices from the sustainable fashion movements as we had introduced to us, and we will try to unpack, unbox, whatever you want to call it. Can this bill truly shift consumption and industry norms? Is it the start of a global policy change or just a power shuffle? And how do we keep justice for people and the planet at the center of fashion future? Chloe?
Thank you, Puja. And for a brief intro to the French speakers that might be here as well. La France a donc récemment pris des mesures législatives significatives contre notamment l'ultra fast fashion. Vous avez peut-être entendu parler sur les réseaux sociaux sûrement, avec un projet de loi donc, qui cible directement les plateformes comme Shein et Temu, introduisant des frais d'éco-contribution, des interdictions de publicité et un étiquetage obligatoire de leur impact. Et bien que le projet de loi soit salué comme une mesure audacieuse visant à freiner la surconsommation, il a également soulevé de graves préoccupations, notamment les critiques soutiennent qu'il s'agit moins d'un changement systémique et plus de libérer l'espace du marché pour les géants européens de la fast fashion comme Zara ou H&M. Des marques qui fonctionnent encore sur des modèles linéaires exploiteurs avec des coûts environnementaux et sociaux massifs. So we have some questions now for our panelists, Catherine and Mathilde. Thank you so much for being here again. Catherine, I had a question for you. According to you, what are the pros and the cons of this new French law?
Alors, so this new, it's not a law for the moment. It's just because the law had to be revoted in October. So we speak about a PPL, proposition de loi. The cons, I would say, for us, it's a very good news that the publicity, advertising, and influencer work will be shut down. That was one of the questions we bring to the to the subject, and it was not in the first vote in the Assemblée nationale. It was not acquis, a crime. Now in the Senate, they reincorporate. I don't know the word in English. Sorry. Yes, they put it back again. This is a very good signal, because we know that these ultra fast fashion companies are making brain damage on our twins, and they brainwash because of the impact of the advertising again and again. Sorry. So the problem with the law, I would say, there is not enough human rights bring to the subject. And for Fashion Revolution, you know that it's our main subject. Nobody speak never about human rights. So that, for me and for some other member of the Stop Fast Fashion Coalition, this was a big problem. But okay, forget it for the moment. We will come again in the fight. But well, we don't have it. That's for me. It's very for me, it's a shame. Carrément a shame. Mathilde, if you want to give your impression again, please feel free.
Oh, I was just letting you finish. Well, genuinely, the law was called law to reduce the impact of environmental to reduce the environmental impacts of the garment industry. So it was telling the garment industry what was right to be sold in France and what wasn't right to be sold in France. And it was a regulation law. Now it's a protection law against two massive giants, Chinese massive giants, and the last law rapporteurs in Senate. I don't know if you know how a law can be promulgated in France. To be promulgated in France, the law has to be voted both by the two chambers of the parliament, both Assemblée nationale and Senate. So it had been voted unanimously at the Assemblée nationale from all the members of the Assembly. So, and they were a little disappointed that there were no human rights topics by them. And the minister by then said, "Oh, when it will go to the Senate, we will secure the basis of the law, and we will enrich it with human rights." Okay. A whole year has been spent between the two discussions between the Assemblée nationale and the Senate. So what was this year spent on? I think that there was a great lobbying occurring in the parliament, and the rapporteur, senator rapporteur, said and spoke said that she wanted to protect the interests of French and European brands. But can we say that Inditex still is European? It's a multinational. And now, how can we not see that this will encourage the bad habits of the traditional fashion law brands? And okay, you are focusing on Shein and Temu, and there is no way that we will say that they don't have to be targeted somehow. But the other ones don't have to be encouraged. We know that there are still 32 brands that are implicated in the Rana Plaza, and these are the brands that the senator said that they wanted to protect. How would you say that we want to protect both environment and the people and workers when you just promulgate an economic law? This is what it is now. So we are quite discouraged. But when the two texts between Assemblée nationale and Senate that have been read and voted are quite different, there is a third discussion that we call Commission Mixte Paritaire. Well, this is France. We rely on many administrative topics and matters. And this third discussion will occur by September or October. And we have some, we still are struggling so that senators and deputies go back to speakable mind and go back to the roots of the law. And this is not a declaration of war against brands or so on. It's just to say that there is a worldwide problem that is the overconsumption, and we want to reduce it. We want to rethink the way we produce. We want to rethink the way we buy, and we want to rethink all the life of the garment from the cotton field to the dust field, because we still send it to countries that don't have any reduction of the dust, and this is a shame. Now we have to stop it for the producing countries to the destination countries, and the regulator must be our countries, the consumer countries.
Yes, and I can add something. In the consumer countries in Western Europe, or well, rich countries, the problem is how people do buy and buy again, and without any idea of how a garment is done, without any idea of the damage on their health. It's a real problem now. We know that these garments are harmful, and we have to do many campaign. And I know Slow Fashion, you do very closely of fashion revolution, and we are very close on our speaking to the large public. But it's a big issue now to stop these fast fashion brands. And in France, we have a lot. It's not only Zara, H&M, and whatever. In France, we have a lot of fast fashion brands. I can say the name. It's Decathlon, it's Primark. Primark is not French, but they have a lot of big shop on our territory. So I think this law is not is not enough at all to alarm people and to make they think how garments should be bought and kept and worn. Above all, worn, because we know that 50% now of the clothes which are bought in France are not worn by people. So that's why we have to stop all that brands, and I don't know how we will do it, but we will try.
But
Again
Catherine,
and
thank
again.
you for pointing that. I mean, I'm so appreciative you mentioned about the overconsumption part, because as we speak right now, I would like to say this stats to our audience that in France, we are at 3.3 billion textile items that are bought every year. and we wear one item only for 7 times. Compared to in a decade back, it was much more. So people are wearing it at an average 7 times and discarding them. Matilda, you have been part of some very crucial activations and campaigns like the Clean Clothes campaign. And I think I want to direct this question to you because we usually talk about the overconsumption. We are also aware that this policy that has been proposed is not at all talking about garment workers' rights. So, what role do citizen-led movements like Fashion Revolution and Slow Fashion Movement plays in pushing for such legislative change? Because out of the 3 pillars of sustainability, we can see that, the ban on advertisement, that's a great start. Eco contribution, the feel-a-weed on fast fashion brands, great. But why this policy has not at all created a space for garment workers' rights? And how do you feel our movements like Fashion Revolution and Slow Fashion Movement could help activating that?
Oh, I'm sorry about what I'm going to say. I think that racism has taken a huge place in the way people think the world they live in. And the more we go on, the more we move, the less we care about other people on the earth. See how we welcome migrant people who are coming cross borders, going through many dangers and so on. So today, people don't give. I'm sorry to say this. It's quite trivial, but they don't give a shit about people living in South Asia or people who live in their garbage garment garbage in Africa or in Pakistan and so on. And I think this is a huge topic about this. Because when you speak about Uyghurs, for instance, on the social medias, or the way that Bangladesh or any government worker, the way they work, people say, oh, at least they have a job, and they really don't care about it. I think that we have to move on and to go into schools and to sensibilize young people when you are at a young age. I think that you can really realize the part of humanity you are in. We should have links with you in South Asia, and we should establish more dialogue. I have this experiment with African pupils and French pupils who we are working on secondhand impact. And I think that there is this fraternity raising by the dialogue. And we have to educate people. We have to buildings. We have to help you raising your struggles, not have our own campaigns here. We have to help workers build their struggles. We have to help you where you're on strikes. We have to also help to show the feminist aspects, also the gender-based aspects of the problem, because I think that feminism is one of the issues also. And we know that there are some, well, in garment industry, the gender-based violence is something absolutely huge. And I don't think that the legislator will move at any way if the citizens don't realize back that there are citizens before consumers, and we have to educate, well, once again, to educate young people, not just as consumers, but as citizen consumers. When you buy this, and when you buy a new Samsung phone, you promote extractivism, you promote thing, and well, I don't. And then when the consumer citizens will will demand for information and will demand for regulation, then the legislator will listen to them. When you see, you may have heard of the CSDDD, the due diligence directive in European Parliament. And when there was this counter law, when there was this backlash, the NGOs weren't received by the MEPs. Only the lobbyists were. So it means that now the civil citizens don't have any voice. We have to get back out, to get our voice again, and not to wait for a new Rana Plaza or a new catastrophe for that. We have to prevent that because we have that's what we hear sometimes, you know, some politicians that say, oh, let's wait for a new Rana Plaza, but there are some Rana Plaza every day. Some weeks ago, I've met a Bhopal inhabitant, an inhabitant from Bhopal. They have been waiting for 40 years for regulation and for refunding and for only the recognizing of their of the Bhopal catastrophe. So what do we have to wait for now? Do we have to just forget all the people who are dying or struggling for us, for our consumptions? Well, we have to say to citizens and to consumers, when you wear this type of garment on your back, you wear the sweat and the blood of people on your back. We have to fight against racism. This is the first.
Maybe I can add something.
Yeah.
We have to remember that 160 million children at work in the world, and not only in the garment fabrication, but for every sort of items. So this is a problem, and the law say nothing about it. Do we want do we want to live in such a civilization? We are typically like in the 19th century now, with the forced labor, with the Uyghur and others, and the labor in the prison in China, 160 million children working every day for us, and this is not it's not good. It's not good. So this law is not is not enough. Sorry for my French, sorry for my English, I don't know. But for me, it's a big problem, and that's in my opinion, it's an issue that we have to fight really strongly against from now.
Catherine, I remember the other day we started, when we had a call planning this panel discussion, we started talking about what we actually wish the law was. And I found it really interesting. And I wanted to ask you, Mathilde, did you think about what we wish actually the law that is passing at the Senate right now actually was?
So when I saw that both CSDDD and the anti-fast fashion law were really backlashed, I worked with a clinic law to write an advocacy on a European regulation, and because this is a worldwide problem, so maybe let's attack it from the from the European side. So I sent it to some MEPs, and I think, were you in Brussels at the launching of the textile working group, Chloé? Catherine and I were supposed to go there, and well, there is this working group that has been launched 10 days ago in European Parliament about textiles. So let's go to the roots and let's go to bigger matters and to bigger deciders. And so this is 49 pages advocacy regarding French law, European law, and European directives and some local European laws to see what would be doable, what won't be doable, and this is really human rights orientated, and we are advocating for a passport, for instance, that could be not on every garment piece, because that's too much, but that can be a consent table from the consumers if you have some a flash, you know, a link to a file, and then you have the passport. Any garment piece couldn't go outside of Europe without this passport and couldn't be sorted. I've been in Puja, and there was a whole town in Gujarat that is dedicated to sorting. And we have no focus on it. We don't know the people who are working there. We have only one documentary in France showing this matter and this new phenomenon. And there are only women working for 80 euros a month. They are working 12 hours a day, and they have no right to sit. This is a very physical job. So this is we have to regulate the fabrication, I mean the first hand, but we also have now to face this second phenomenon that is an industrial amount of second hand that is raising a new working class, a new poor working class worldwide, really. So I think that this binding regulation should be both European and maybe at the EOCD to watch out it as a global phenomenon and not just a commercial matter, and everywhere. Maybe you may know about the international accords that are in Bangladesh and Pakistan. And for instance, on this passport, there could be, we have imaginated a label saying that it could be inside the accord or not inside the accord. So the working conditions are sticking to the protocol or not sticking to this protocol as a route of human workers basis.
Yes, and we have another issue, and it's not a little one, small one. Is the chemicals and the plastic in these garments, because we know that 69 or 70% of garments are polyester and another bullshit. This is harmful for the environment, of course, with the sea issue, but it's very harmful for the public health. I spoke about it formally, but I insist in this point, because no harmful garment should land in Europe, because we have law already. We have reached. It's not enough, I know, that it has to be reevaluated, but we can let this shit this shit land in our countries now, and how can we do that? How can we stop this production? I don't know. But this is a very, very big issue.
Absolutely. And
for
I think
us here now.
I think, Catherine, you just said something, and I would like to reiterate that, but I would like to say that no harmful garment should reach not just Europe, but in any parts of the world. Fashion is definitely one of the most unregulated industry. California has passed one or two laws in the couple of years to try to deal with the overconsumption, throwing away culture. The EU has also happened to have bunch of laws, and I want to ask that, do you think that the French, so just give me, do you think that the French law complements or complicates the implementation of this upcoming, the ESPR, the EU Eco Design for Sustainable Products Regulation? And
Yeah.
how do you see that happening? I mean, is it going to impact that?
Maybe we can say what is this law, this ESPR. We can say what is it exactly. This law should improve product durability, reusability, gradability, and reparability. I don't know if the law is doing that, but let's see.
Actually, we do have a bunch of laws which are presented, but how the implementation is happening is the biggest question we have right now.
Yes, I'm not a technician of the laws, and I'm not a jurist, and I don't know how it will be helpful. I don't have an answer. Mathilde, do you have an answer for that?
I don't think that this law is ambitious enough to prevent anything. In fact, it's just aiming on two giants that are a pain in the back of European multinationals. Let's say how it is, and I'm sure that both Shein and Temu, which are the two giants that are aimed at, will turn the way that they act, and are going to be on the rails again, and that the shit will go on as usual, and then maybe increase, because I think I'm very afraid of the rebound effect of the French law as it is now, and that could encourage. I will give you just one example. I'm sorry to be. I'm very talkative. If I talk too much, just tell me. There is this very important thing that is in the French law that, since 2022, the brands don't have the right to put in the trash the unsold items. And they have this incitation to give it to charities with refunds, tax refunds. A recent investigation has shown that some brands overproduce some items that they know that they won't sell, so that they have this paper to have their tax refund, and the owners of the brand have cash back. Okay, so the Senate has read the investigation. Okay, that's fantastic, and said only Shein couldn't have this refund, this tax refund, but the investigation has shown that Decathlon made 23 times the amount of refund than Shein. So I'm Mr. Decathlon. I say, okay, I make 23 times the cash, and they don't tell me anything. So I will accelerate. So this is what I personally fear, is that okay, they say that they want to protect me, so let's move on, let's do more, let's do worse. So I don't think that this law is ambitious enough to prevent any other regulation. Once again, we have to take care of our health, of the workers' health also, because when I was speaking about the international accord, it was also because when you are manipulating chemicals, well, you are at risk. And the international accord forbids it, at least they are forbidding it. So if it's not good for the workers, it's not good for the consumers, and vice versa. And we have to say people what they risk. And you are absolutely right, Catherine. When you are a mother, when you are a father, when you buy something for your child, you have to know what you how much you put your child at risk. We have this endocrine perturbators that are huge in the garment. You wear it on your skin. When you do some sports, it goes back into your body. Well, it's absolutely horrible. Well, after that, you make your choice, but at least you know what you are wearing. The information is the key, and this is the least we can give the consumers.
I think you've made really very interesting points, Mathilde, and thank you so much for flagging them. I mean, if I may say, like, fashion evolution is always, when we talk about fashion evolution, the first phrase that comes in mind is who made your clothes. And we talk of slow fashion movement, the first thing that comes in our community's mind is the slow fashion season challenge, which is a 90 days fast fashion detox where we are trying to, amplify, mindful and conscious consumerism. Supporting local artisans, being conscious, going for pre-loved. But having said all of this, what I have realized in personally as a campaigner and a movement builder, I could say that we are always just talking about the role of consumers. I mean, why is the consumer always questioned? Because we also recently had a very interesting conversation with Dr. Caroline May. She's a cognitive psychologist, and she said how brands are using psychological tools to manipulate, create that urge of buying constantly. There is so much science being used by brands. And also one more thing which I actually just wrote on my note while you were speaking is that I really think that controlling the influencers community or the creator community, banning them, I don't know how much sense does that make, because they are consumers at the end of the day also. There is no particular regulation in any country until now for consumer marketing. So I have no idea how they are going to regulate that ban. Is it just lawsuits? Because then there are fast fashion, ultra fast fashion brands who actually have budget allotted separately for handling such fines and such non-compliant practices. So I'm quite curious to know as well. As you said, it's pretty interesting to see that why and how such a policy proposal was not at all a 360-degree overview. There's a lot of loopholes we are noticing while we speak today. And yeah, I want to ask Chloé, in fact, that is not on our agenda. If I may ask a question to Chloé, that how do you want to see this policy shaping up? Our experts, Catherine and Mathilde, shared their point of view. How would you, as a person who loves fashion, you've been part of the movement for a while now, Chloé, and you're doing brilliant as a global communication lead. So tell us, how do you perceive this?
How do I
law?
see the future of the law?
Yes. That's a surprise, right? Guys, we are recording.
Here we go. No, I think, well, like, of course, everything with everything we just said today, and like, or the law not being enough, and I'm still like a bit of a sometimes too positive person, and I'm still happy that France being like the first country that I think, if I'm not wrong, France being the first country to have passed this new anti-fast fashion law in the Senate. I'm actually like thinking and questioning myself, like how, like to what extent it could influence like other EU countries. Because like, for example, I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, because we never know. But I've heard that, for example, the United Kingdom started like working on it as well when they heard like about this new anti-fast fashion law. And so yeah, and also if you want to answer the question, Mathilde and Catherine, I would be quite interested to see your point of view on about like how it could inspire other EU countries, and if it could on the more positive sides.
I had this strategy inside the Clean Clothes campaign advocacy group to do with the anti-fast fashion law what had done with the due diligence law. You might know that France was a pioneer in due diligence law that was voted in 2017. Then Germany voted one. Then Holland voted one, and then it became a European law. Well, let's not speak about the omnibus. But the strategy was to accompany my fellow companions of this advocacy working group. Well, it is a lobbying and advocacy working group, so that they would study and starting advocacy in their own country, so that they had their local law where it was possible. Well, in Europe, it's less and less possible because we have all these far-right governments that are preventing it. But, well, and this was the strategy. And even you may have seen our excellent colleagues from Public Eye that are advocating for Swiss to vote a parallel law, well, parallel to the first lecture of the law, the one that has passed in the National Assembly. And I'm very close to Public Eye. We exchange something like every week. We call one another and so on. So this was the strategy. First, there is the French law, then there are 2 or 3 European countries, and then it becomes a directive. So I was quite enthusiastic, but it was before the omnibus, before all that, and so on. But we are good, and that's why we built this advocacy carnet of for a European directive. In between, we have been warned that there was this working group in the European Parliament about textile. That is quite an opportunity, but I think that we have to. Well, I'm sorry. I was quite pessimistic at the beginning of the webinar. We have to see all the little interstices we can get in and take the place in it, because our times are hard and worldwide hard.
Yes, to add something, just a little thing, the new textile program in the European Parliament is led by Saskia Brekmont, and she's Belgium. She's from Belgium, and I think she's very, very good at this work. So we can have a hope for Europe to change the laws. Yeah, but we are in the capitalism era, so
let us not get started with post-growth and degrowth. We should definitely organize another panel for that. But I mean, I'm so glad that we're doing this, Catherine, Mathilda. Thank you so much for joining us for the conversation. We have 4 more minutes. If anybody of you would like to unmute and share, after which we'll keep it open for our audiences. Anybody who may have any question for you, they will be directing it to you. They can unmute themselves because we are right on time, and they can ask the experts their question. For now, I would say that definitely the apparel and the textile industry business in France is the most powerful in the world. What you are doing, the world is watching. You are creating benchmarks. But having said that, the New York Fashion Act has been sitting in the Alabama, I mean, for years to get passed. We have witnessed those kind of situations. Waste Framework Directive has been negotiated, like it has negotiated open up with the extended policy producer responsibility to the modulation around the business model. That is huge. We still want to see how the linear model of business in fashion industry should navigate to circular model. We need policies around these kind of change that we want to see in the industry. The Circular Economy Act, which the Commission will, I think it will be proposed in 2026. We hope it will push from France. We need this kind of policies to push away polyester, because Catherine, you also mentioned about, how 70% of fabrics today in the fashion industry is the synthetic fabrics that we're using, and plastic is not just on us but inside of us. Science researchers have already shown us that it is found, the microplastics are found not just in the water bodies where we are throwing away the clothes, but also in the bloodstream of human being. So it's high time we need to start, pushing our policymakers. Systemic changes are needed when it comes to bringing regulation in the fashion industry. I think we all love fashion. We definitely need to fight for it. So that's my closing note. But anybody would like to unmute themselves and say, Catherine, Mathilde, Chloe, please go ahead.